Hi guys, I wanted to post this video so that I can be able to explain more in depth about how I approach this painting. I love working with loose brush strokes. I took a course a couple of years ago and they helped me with the loose brush strokes, but of course it's something that I had to develop. It didn't happen overnight. I had to work at it and work at it. I couldn't figure it out, but eventually I was able to get it, understand it, and figure that when you're painting with loose brush strokes, it's basically just freeing yourself from the tightness. Sometimes, as artists, we sit down right in front of the canvas and we become very tight with our paintings. And because we're right up on the canvas, it kind of tenses us up. It puts us in a different state of mind to where we think that everything has to be precise, which, yes, paintings should be almost to say precise, but because I love abstract realism, okay, I this loose brushstroke works for me. So if you like that, please follow so that I can share with you my experiences and even my challenges that I've had along the way. But I've been painting for about 30 years and I painted tight. I always painted tight. I never knew what what I was doing, I guess, as far as painting tight. And up until I took this art course a couple of years ago, and the instructor is she's very famous. She's very well known and reputable. And I loved her style. I loved how she approached her paintings and how they came out, the end results, and everything. But it was something that I had to kind of develop and work at, from the beginning. And so I kind of, in a sense, have taken up my own way of painting loose. And the way you saw me start this painting with very watered down paint at the beginning is how I like to approach most of my paintings, okay, especially if they're going to consist of abstract art. And so anyhow, I start with a very watered down paint, and I start from light to dark, and then towards my process, I start using less watered down paint, and then it starts becoming to where it's nothing but paint. And then sometimes, of course, you do have to thin out your paints because your brush is too dry. So but anyhow, give it a try, but don't give up on it if you can't tackle it right away. So this pretty much is going to, just by seeing the process of the painting, it will kind of help you. It is on time lapse, and so it doesn't help you in that sense, but you can kind of get the idea. Every artist kind of, does their own drawings, their own, way of approaching a painting. And it's basically, when you're doing this style, it's having to be a little far away from your painting. Of course, except for when you get close up to the details, then you have to get a little closer to your painting, but what helps me is to stand up when I start my painting, and then when I start getting to the details, then I can sit down and start kind of developing my details a little more precise. And this is when it's abstract realism. But I don't care for perfection. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for a good result, with a good impression. And I want to attract the viewer to my paintings. So I think that I pretty well accomplished that. I did have some shorts that I started off very realistic in my projects. Well, maybe starting off loose, but I got very detailed on some of my paintings. But I kind of wanted to allow you guys to see, how, you can create those realistic paintings by even starting off loose, okay? And another thing that I'd like for you to keep in mind too, if you do try this technique, when you're when you're starting off your painting, try to step a few feet away from your painting so that can help you, and hold your paintbrush not close to the bristle like I am right here now. Okay, this is when you start working with it more detail, then you can get a little closer to the bristle. But when you're starting off loose, try to hold your brush more towards the middle of it, and then just go from there and see what you start creating. And of course, I'm working with acrylics, so I want to continue painting, and so I use my dryer. Sometimes I'll stop and I'll go take a break and just let it dry on its own. And these are brushes that I'm just showing you. It's a filbert brush. I have a very nice thin flat one, and the other one is kind of fluffy and ruined. And I use the fluffy and ruined one so I can create some sort of like mist in the background. And then I bring down. I don't want to ruin keep your old brushes and use your old brushes for mist and whenever you're scumbling. This way you don't have to ruin a good brush, and you can save those for more finer paintings, or when you're working towards that section where you need to be finer. And then here I'm using my fan brush. And if you notice at the beginning, I didn't even use my fan brush. I just used the brush and just gave a visual presentation of pine trees. And then here I am already getting to the details. And very close to the bristle now. And so just the explanation of how it is to paint loose, maybe that'll kind of get your mindset in that position and kind of help you out. But give it a try. I think that you're going to be very pleased. And please, please, please do not expect to have a change overnight. Because like I said, it took me a while, but miracles do happen. And so I'm just creating a focal point right here on his forefront. And then you probably noticed that at one point I did turn the canvas upside down so that I can create the reflection of the sky. And now I'm working with the fur. And of course, now it's detail time. And let me know if you guys try it. And don't forget to click like and follow if you like my content. And that'll help me with my channel. I'm just a little YouTuber right now. I just kind of started my little YouTube journey, and let me tell you, it is a challenge. It's like another job. I think it takes me longer to edit and get these videos posted out to you than it does to create my painting. But anyhow, I totally love the idea of being able to share my experiences with you and my knowledge. And let me know what you think, okay? Bye. You guys have fun with your art. Don't get too tense. Loosen up and stay creative. And just real quick, I have a long form video on how I drew this wolf. And the title is Drawing a Wolf for a Painting in Depth.